Hi, so I'm a blind artist and this is one of the ways I enjoy painting. I actually used to be afraid of painting. I felt excluded from it because of how visual it was. Even though I've studied art for years, it's only recently that I've started painting again. And I think one of the ways of making it accessible to me is not caring about what it looks like anymore, not putting that pressure on myself, just enjoying the process and how it feels rather than what the final outcome is. I definitely don't want people to feel excluded from art because of their disability or for whatever else it might be. So I'm really hoping that this tutorial can show people that art can be inclusive and can be accessible. So let's finally get into one of the ways I really enjoy painting. I like working on contrast, so I first put down a black sheet of paper and taped on top my white paper that I'll be painting on. Then I chose some black and blue acrylic paint. Sometimes I choose a colour at random, but this time I decided to ask someone for help. Then I got a sponge and made it a little damp. You can see it's very well covered in acrylic paint, and a small pot with high edges so I can mix my paint into. I find higher edges more accessible so I don't spill paint everywhere. So I started off by dabbing my sponge on the top left hand corner of my paper and just kept trying to cover it as much as I can in light blue. My aim for this is to have a transition of light blue going into darker blue using my sponge. Then I mix in a tiny drop of black into the blue to get a slightly darker shade and mix it around with my paintbrush. This is where high edges really come in handy so I don't explode paint everywhere. I don't really have a way of knowing that my paint is completely mixed, so I just keep going ahead and mixing it as much as I can. Unless someone's there, I might ask them, hey, have I missed a spot? But, it's all about having fun. Then I carry on dabbing with the darker blue alongside the lighter blue, hoping it blends, but if it doesn't really matter. It's, again, all about the process. So I just keep dabbing away with my sponge until I feel like I've covered everything I want to. I'm feeling alongside to make sure I've kind of got paint everywhere. My fingers get covered in paint. So now about half to 3/4 of the page is covered in the lighter blue, transitioning into the medium blue. Then I mix up another darker shade of blue by adding extra black and keep dabbing away at the blank areas. And I just keep carrying on with the darkest blue, covering as much of the blank space on the page as possible. So far I've got the lightest blue on the top left of the page, transitioning into a darker and darker blue to the bottom right. Then I mix up some white paint and PVA glue. With a paintbrush, I just mark make and have fun making organic swirly lines all over the page, hoping when it dries the PVA will add a really nice smooth thick texture over the top of my painting. I just keep going making all these flowy lines and organic marks and just enjoying myself instead of worrying about what it looks like. It's such a freeing process. So the final outcome has a transitioning blue background from light blue to medium to dark with elegant flowing organic white lines over the top, which are also raised thanks to the PVA glue. I do wish I added extra glue to make it more tactile, but I absolutely loved making this piece and making art accessible for myself. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of my art journey or even how I'm getting on with my first ever guide dog, please like and follow along for more.